Welcome back to His and Hers Movie Podcast. This is episode number 46, featuring a review of the remake of the 1995 Stuart Gordon classic, Castle Freak. This film has just released this past week or so, and we are going to dive into it. I am one half of your hosting duo, JP, podcasting on this December 13th at 2 a.m. outside of Southwest PA. And joining me tonight is Carly, who is also podcasting inside Southwest PA, I guess. What's up, Carly?
I am in a bad mood.
Why?
Because I am tired, and we could have done this hours ago, but here we are.
Why didn't we do it hours ago?
Because you wanted to watch Christmas Vacation and then watch your fights and then record when we could have recorded, got that out of the way, did all that other stuff, and I could be in bed asleep. But I'm not.
True.
Right.
All right, so anything exciting go on this week?
No, I don't know. Anything exciting go on this week? Not really. Not really. I've started wrapping Christmas gifts and done pretty well. I only have a few things left. So I did that. And then that's pretty much it. I didn't really do anything this week. What about you?
I worked. We had a little Christmas party at work. I went there for a little bit. I went really late, so it was like just finishing when I got there, but it was cool. And then also, what did I do? I went Christmas shopping for my niece and nephew today with you. You came with me.
Right.
We did that.
Yes.
And then last night, I recorded a 10-hour 22 Shots episode.
Yeah, buddy, that's pretty insane.
I still feel hungover from it.
Are you gonna cut it into two parts or just release it all?
I don't know. We're deciding that still. It's a huge episode. It was our 200th episode, and it was funny because we were already getting annoyed at each other at 5 hours in, and then we recorded another 5 hours.
Yeah.
That was a bad idea. I was having so much fun at the beginning. Jeremy and Dave were worried, and I was like, this is so fun though. I'm having a blast. And then 2 hours later, I was eating my words.
Right.
So
yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, it was rough. Hopefully it still turned out to be a pretty decent episode, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. 200 episodes.
Congrats.
Isn't it weird that we're almost 1/4 of that on this show?
Yeah, it is. I was thinking that the other day. We're almost a 50.
Right, that's crazy. It's nuts.
In just 1 year.
I got my Dawn of the Dead box set in, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Very cool. I saw you made a vid.
I did make a video of it. And it was funny because I dropped the whole set, put a little clip of it at the end.
Right.
But it's I could have put the longer clip, but it was just me annoyed as hell looking. And off camera kind of. It's funny because when all of it fell, I had a scale on the floor, leaned up against the wall, and something hit it, and it's one of those ones that talk to you. And it's please step on the scale. And I was like, ah.
That's extra annoying.
Yeah, you're ruining my video.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we'll kind of make this one a briefer episode since we're both kind of getting a little tired. And we will start with some what we watched. It's my blind spot this week, so I believe you go first.
All right. Unfortunately, I watched more than I've watched the past 2 episodes, but that's because we've had a longer break in between.
Buddy, no.
I know, buddy. I know. All right. So first up, we have a movie that just came to Netflix, I think, recently, and that was Don't Listen. aka I think it's Voices. It's a Spanish film, I believe.
Is it
it
in
is
Spanish?
It's dubbed in English.
Netflix really does that a lot.
Yeah, which I think that kind of like that was like really distracting to me with that. So that was kind of annoying. But this movie wasn't too bad. It's a 2020 film, of course. So as per my, oh my god, I have to watch all these 2020 movies. The time is running out. But it was decent. I know Watson liked this one quite a bit. It's kind of about, you got this kid, you have this family, they just move into this new house, I believe, and their son is scared. He keeps like waking up all scared and stuff, and they think he's having bad dreams, but they don't really know what's wrong with him. And then one thing leads to the other, and something happens to the son, and then you have like these paranormal investigator guy come in, and he's like trying to figure out what the heck is going on. I thought it was cool. I think Watson and a few other people were really high on it. I didn't like it as much as them, but I did think it was an interesting story. It had a few really creepy moments, but it feels a little more, there's a lot of like drama to it as well. So I could see it appealing to other people more so than myself, but I gave that one like a 7 out of 10. And then after that, another 2020 movie that is on Shudder, and it is Anything for Jackson. This movie is about this older couple who basically lost their grandson Jackson, and they're really upset and grieving and taking it hard. So they kidnap this pregnant woman and essentially do this sort of reverse exorcism thing on her, and it's an attempt to bring their son back. Yeah, this movie was pretty fantastic. It's super creepy, super unsettling. There's just a lot of those moments in it that are like jump scares in a way that's just like they're putting something disturbing right in front of your face and you're not expecting it. And it utilizes it really well. The husband and wife in the film, I thought were really interesting actors. Just their dialogue and stuff like that was really cool. And yeah, this one is great. I definitely recommend it. I think it's for sure a contender for, anyone's top 10. I gave this a 9 out of 10. And then after that, I watched another Netflix movie called The Binding. Another 2020 movie, and honestly I wasn't expecting this one to really be that great. I just kind of threw it on because the other night I just wasn't in the mood to pay attention to anything that I thought could be super good, so I put this on, and it was okay. It was another like sort of ghost film. Honestly, I'm kind of like going blank on what it was even really about, but I think it was a family goes back to visit the husband's family, and some spooky stuff starts to happen. I got kind of bored with it after a while and thought it was rather bland, so I gave that one just like a 4 out of 10. Definitely kind of like a skip. Then after that, as per my Survive 05, I watched Haunting Sarah. And funny enough, this was on a DVD set from Dollar Tree with a few other like, spooky sounding movies. It was like a 5-pack, and I had actually seen this movie before when I was younger, and only realized it on this watch, and it was kind of one of those freaky things where it's like every scene I'm like, wow, I've definitely seen this before, and it's been lost in my mind for all this time, and now it's all coming back. But it's actually a Hallmark movie, and it feels like a Hallmark movie, but it's kind of weird because it's a Hallmark like thrillers kind of horror movie. Definitely feels very TV movie though. You're not really seeing anything. It's about this girl who gets haunted by her dead cousin, and you have these twins who was played by the same actress. And one twin is kind of like, talking to Sarah, wanting to try to, get her son back because she sees that she hears from him and stuff like that, and then the other twin's like jealous because that's her daughter, and she's like, stop. It was alright, it feels very Hallmark movie-esque, but it was actually decent. It's very easy to watch. I gave that like a 6.5. Then after that, watched Spiral from 2019 on Shudder. just came out, so it counts for 2020. This one was about this couple. It's a homosexual couple, two dads and a daughter. They moved to this new area, and while they're there, some of the neighbors are just kind of acting a little bit strange, and the new husband, I think they're husbands, I don't think their boyfriends are actually married. You see that the one who like married into the family has like a troubled past and stuff like that, and he's very paranoid of people and thinks like everyone's out to get the gay community and stuff like that, and just this town is acting really weird. So some stuff starts to happen. It's very much like Get Out in a way, where it's people who just feel uncomfortable with their surroundings. They feel like everyone kind of doesn't want them there and stuff like that. So I thought it was cool. I thought it was a cool concept with the gay couple, but I thought it was cool that they actually utilized that and made that kind of the plot of the film. But kind of loses steam after a while. Kind of once again gets into that generic sort of category where you kind of know everything that's going to happen. So for that, I only gave it like I think I gave this either a 6.5 or a 7. I can't remember. Alright, so then after that, I checked out Castle Freak with Joe Bob from 1995, because I had never seen the movie before, and, well, we're doing the remake here, and I did not want to be a fakerton. So, I tried to watch this one night on Joe Bob, back when, Joe Bob first aired, and I actually fell asleep, and I was sad, because it seemed pretty cool. Literally caught up probably to, the part where the guy is dreaming about the car accident, and that was about it. I fell asleep. So watched it with Joe Bob, so it was like 2 hours, but it was fun time. Watched it while wrapping my Christmas gifts, and I thought this was a pretty cool movie. It's got some really good like gore effects and stuff like that in it. They're gross out, and I really like the look of the Castle Freak. I think he's pretty freaking scary, especially at the end. And I like the story. I like the concept of the dad, killing the son and blinding the daughter, and then there's like tension and stuff there, as there should be. So I liked all that stuff. I just thought it was a pretty neat concept for a film, and I actually watched this one after I watched the remake instead of the other way around, because, well, that is how I do. But overall, I thought it was pretty good. I gave it a 7 out of 10. And then after that, I watched Open 24 Hours 2018, which just came out in 2020. And this was actually on Tubi for free. And this one I actually almost watched instead of 12-hour shift when we were going to do that movie. And I realized, luckily, right at the start that it was the wrong movie. But again, I was watching it and I thought, wow, this looks cool. I would like to watch this. So I went back and watched it, and I enjoyed this one as well. I kind of agree with you on the stuff that you had brought up before, where you don't really like the visions and things that she's kind of having, but...
Yeah, it's like the psychosis angle.
Yeah, it's just like unrealistic. It's just too much to me, but I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it more disturbing, but I just think you could kind of do without. I do love the setting. I love the night shift setting, and I love how, she has some interactions with different people and then her co-workers, and this one gets, rather bloody as well. It's kind of a slasher in a way, and I think it's pretty well done for the most part. I gave that a 7 as well. It's just a fun movie. Then after that, I watched The Swerve. This is one that I'd actually wanted to watch for a while, ever since I remember Jeremy talking about this on 22 Shots, because he saw it at that, Cinepop.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yes, buddy. And I remember him talking about it, and like just the way it sounded right up my alley, and I always kind of had it in the back of my head, and then I saw people posting about it now, and I'm like, oh man, that's that move that, he was talking about. So checked it out. It's basically about a depressed woman's life sort of unraveling and things just kind of spiraling out of control. That's pretty much the entire film. It's very much like centered around her. And I thought it was great. It's definitely more of a psychological drama in a way than horror, but there are a few horrific moments, there are a few disturbing moments, and it has like a very sort of eerie tone throughout. Like there's just that sort of ominous music playing and this sense of dread that I think I shall count it for the year as, horror. But it's definitely on the brink. I could see why some people would not count it. But this one really just appealed to me. It's a very downer film throughout the entire thing, but I really, really dug it. I watched this like at 2 a.m. last night, actually. Before I went to bed, I gave this a 9 out of 10. Then after that...
Wait a minute. You're mad about us recording at 2 a.m., but you can watch moves at 2 a.m.?
Buddy, well... It wasn't really 2 a.m., okay? I think I finished the move by 2 a.m. And also, buddy, I don't have to talk on a podcast, so I could just lay in bed. I took your advice. You always say, oh, just take a nizzle while a move is playing, but instead I watched the entire move.
Nice.
So, yeah. Then after that, and this is the last one, it's as per Survive My 05, and also just because we're supposed to do it on movie versus movie, is Santa Sleigh from 2005. Now, I already watched this one, in October, which JP frowns upon, but I did. And watching it this time again, it's a really fun movie. I mean, the first time, 2 months ago when I saw it, at first I was kind of like, oh, this is going to be very goofy. The opening just sets the tone for it, and I wasn't as on board for it, but this time around I actually really enjoyed it. Very easy film to watch, a very fun ride, killer Santa movie. Santa Claus is just pissed and destroying everyone's day, and I think it's just a blast. Definitely one that I'll continue to check out probably around Christmas time every year, because it does have a very good Christmas vibe as well. I gave that a 7.5 out of 10. So that is all my movies.
All right. So going into mine, do you remember the last title that I talked about?
As per your request, your title was Dial Code for Santa, aka Deadly Games, and The Children and Haunted Ween were your last 3.
Okay. So then I watched The Mask of Red Death, 1964. This was a Patreon watch for 22 shots. This is one of the 7 or 8 Poe Corman films. So Roger Corman directed a bunch of Edgar Allan Poe inspired films in the 60s. And I believe this was the second to last one that he did, and probably one of the better ones. It essentially follows a town that is stricken by a plague, the Red Death, but it's sort of like the Black Death. And Vincent Price is like I don't know what the word would be, but he's kind of like a king-like character in the town. He lives in a castle and stuff, and he's has a bunch of servants and people around him and stuff, and he's just a complete ass. He basically takes this girl and her father and her husband captive, and he is trying to seduce her and make his the woman's father and husband fight to the death and stuff. And he orders the village to be burned down and stuff like that. He's just a complete prick in this movie. And he does a really good job. He steals the show. In fact, usually when he's with any other actor on screen, they just come off super bland because Vincent Price is so good. But I didn't really realize this, but there's a lot of symbolism and stuff going on in this movie that Moods kind of pointed out. And he made me like it a little bit more. So I upped my rating to a 7 from a 6.5. But it's very atmospheric and cool.
Nice. Very nice.
Then I watched Nightbreed, the director's cut. I actually wanted to watch the theatrical cut because I've never seen Nightbreed, period. but the theatrical cut was unavailable streaming. I do own it on disc, but I was trying to watch it streaming. So Prime had the director's cut, and like Tubi had the director's cut, maybe even Shudder. But this movie is about a dude who is having visions and nightmares and stuff like that. And his psychiatrist is played by David Cronenberg, and he is a serial killer named Decker, and he kind of convinces our lead that he's actually the one doing the killings and stuff like that. And then this lead kind of finds out about this place he's been dreaming about, called like Midian, something like that. And it's like a town, and then it's in a cemetery, and then under the cemetery is basically monsters. Like monsters live under there. It's pretty cool. I really like the special effects work in it. The killer Decker is really neat. I have a few issues with the plot a little bit. It's a little far-fetched at times, but I guess monsters living underground are too. And then I feel like by the end of it kind of overstayed its welcome with the director's cut, at least. I don't know what the real cut's like, the theatrical cut's like, but it's like turns into almost like an action film. But I still thought it was a really good movie. It didn't blow me away. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. Do you like Nightbreed?
Not really. I mean, I tried to watch it for when we did the Body Bags podcast. It was, I think the week on Body Bags channel was like 19 movies from the 90s, and I happened to have it because Jerry actually sent me Nightbreed, hooked me up with it. I know that's one of his favorite films, so sorry to Jerry, but it took me a while to get into it. There were aspects that I liked, but it just wasn't. It was a little too monstery for me and like fantasy.
See, I would have liked more monsters.
See, I like the killer guy, but like I didn't.
Yeah, the killer was really cool. David Cronenberg's crazy.
Yeah, it was creepy. I liked it.
And then for this film was released in 2018, but wide release in 2020. I really need to get on these 2020 films. I've been slacking like so much. We have Open 24 Hours, which you also watched, about a chick who is a felon. She gets a job at a gas station as a clerk, and she's on the night shift. She has drama with her ex-boyfriend, and a backstory that you slowly told. And she has these psychosis problems too, where she feels like she's losing her mind. She's seeing visions and stuff. That was the one aspect that I didn't really like. It does work in like a couple scenes where they really like utilize it great, but to me it just kind of makes it feel like it's cheating the viewer a little bit, because it's like you can do anything because you can just be like, oh, it was a dream, you know? So it's like kind of just feels a little cheap at times. It's like a cheap way to get like shocking or intense stuff on screen, but then you feel cheated because it wasn't real.
Right. I forgot. I was thinking you already reviewed this move on the pod, so sorry that I stole your thunder earlier and said I agree with you on those aspects. It is like fine. I read your mind, but you told me about the move.
Right.
Anyway, yes, proceed.
But yeah, I thought it was pretty solid. I like the overnight setting, and just seeing her interact with different people is like the funnest part. Like I actually like the guy that keeps coming back, the like coworker, and he eats that gross pig tongue.
Ew, yeah, I know.
Oh, that was gross. And I thought there was some pretty good acting in this too. Like the lead was pretty good. But I gave it a 7 out of 10. Then I watched Silent Night, Deadly Night as part of Christmas films that I'm trying to, watch every once in a while. Silent Night, Deadly Night is one of my favorite Christmas horror movies. It's a Christmas slasher. Basically, this kid snaps and dresses up as Santa and goes and says naughty a bunch and kills people. Kills Linda Quigley by stabbing her through antlers, which is a pretty cool kill. The Blu-ray actually has the uncut version, and that is definitely the version to watch. It's awesome. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I love the opening to that too. When his grandfather starts freaking on him.
Christmas is the scariest damn time of the year.
Christmas is the scariest damn time of the year. You see Santa Claus, boy, you better run. I'm like, what the hell? And then Black Christmas 1974. I watched this as part of Joe Bob's marathon last year, which I missed because I was recording 22 shots, just like I missed Friday's episode because I was recording 22 shots. But this was a really awesome breakdown of the film from Joe Bob. He touched on like everything that you kind of know about that one. You know, about like how the Bob Clark kind of he says that Bob Clark's the one that created the rumor that Halloween was John Carpenter's Halloween was basically a stolen sequel from Bob Clark's film. Or from Bob Clark's idea, because Bob Clark apparently told John Carpenter that if he made a sequel, he would have it the Billy break out of a insane asylum, and it would be set on Halloween, and it would be Babysitters or something. Talks about how this film was supposed to air on like CBS as the movie of the week, but it was the same like week or 2 weeks before, or like a week before or something, Ted Bundy broke into that sorority and killed those 2 girls. So they were like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. And then he told a couple of really sad stories about the movie that you looked up afterwards. But Black Christmas is a great, fun, atmospheric movie. The killer is really cool. Joe Bob actually like kind of beat up the ending a little bit. You know what I was thinking though? Is this and Friday the 13th have a very similar ending in terms of like it's sort of a whodunit, but it's just like nobody, you know, like they set up red herrings and you couldn't have figured it out.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, the Olivia Hussey's awesome, good cast, fun movie. Sometimes it gets sometimes it used to get boring for me, like, but this time I was like really kind of into it, like even all the conversations and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I watched the Dawn of the Dead, the Argento cut, 1979, 78. Yeah, 78 or 79. But I watched the 4K. I will say, I'll be honest, the Argento cut was super grainy in the 4K. Like, it still looks great, way better than my DVDs, but it was really grainy at times. Not all the scenes. Scenes early on were especially grainy. But I did pop in briefly the other versions just to see, and they looked a good bit better. They looked, closer to what you would want. But yeah, but still, I mean, to finally have that. I mean, it's a 6-disc set or 7-disc set. I think there's 3 CDs. And there's 3 4Ks and then 1 Blu-ray. It has the theatrical cut, the extended cut, and the Argento cut. So Argento actually did his own cut of Dawn of the Dead in Italy and released it. I would say like the main differences are like music and tonally it's just a little bit darker. But then there's like weird stuff where he took out like the helicopter kill, which is one of the best. So it's kind of weird. Like if you could combine both cuts, it would be better, which I know what people have done, called like the mall cut or something, which is like every scene that's known. But yeah, it's a pretty good movie. Yeah, I love Dawn of the Dead. I mean, it's grown on me tremendously. I used to think it was a little overrated, but I'd give it a 10. It's a fantastic film.
Yeah.
And then we watched Christmas Vacation.
Oh, yes, we did.
And that movie is about a family who is trying to celebrate Christmas Vacation. The Griswolds and Chevy Chase is the father, and everything just keeps going bad. What did you think of it, since it was a first time watch for you?
First of all, they don't even go on a vacation.
It's a Christmas vacation, buddy.
No, buddy.
When you're in school and it's you get that 2-week break. What do they call that?
A vacation from school.
A Christmas vacation.
But, buddy, it's not about the kids. It's about the stupid father. But anyway...
Christmas vacation.
Anyway, I thought it... See, buddy, I avoided this film. I avoided all these, National Lampoon vacation films throughout my life because I did not see them when I was young, and it's one of those things where I always felt... I was talking to my friend Kaylee about this, and I think she said the same thing, where she never wants to watch it because she always thought, like, it's not gonna connect with her, and I kind of felt the same way. Like, I feel like it wasn't gonna be funny, and I wasn't gonna be that into it, and I'm not going to lie, what was that?
That's me growling.
I'm not going to lie, I did not like it as much as I would have hoped to, but it did have some funnies, good funnies. It had some quality funnies, I'm not gonna lie. But, like, to me, I feel like it's one of those ones that people are like, oh, you can't go one Christmas without... It's kind of like a Christmas story to a lot of people, I've noticed.
Uh-huh.
And for me, I just don't see it ever being that way, which I feel bad, because I know it is a classic. There was one part that was, like, really funny and laugh out loud funny, and I kept looking at you, and you were just, like, stone-faced, miserable, so I don't know.
That funny.
It was so funny. Like, that dog just, like, threw the garbage everywhere, and it's, like, not its house. Like, it's not. But no, there was I like the part with the tree. I like the beginning where they forget the saw, and then the tree just has all the stuff, all the roots and stuff in it still on the back of their whip. And I like when they put the tree up and it breaks the wind, and you know, there are some funny moments, but then some of it was just a little over the top for me, I think, too.
Oh, it's a comedy, buddy.
I know, but it's like a over the top
Don't
comedy.
you love Harold and Kumar?
Yeah, but they're like stoner idiots. Like, it's not like a family.
All right,
I don't
whatever.
know.
No, I love this film. It's one of my favorite Christmas films for sure. I actually do like Vacation better, but this one is great too. I've only seen Vacation and this one.
Well, buddy, I have seen this one and the new Vacation.
I've never seen that. I don't think that counts in the series.
It does. It literally does. It's about the it has Chevy Chase in it at the end. Like, it counts. It's continuity.
What is the other one? European Vacation, and then I thought there was a fourth one.
I have no idea. Probably.
Yeah.
Wasn't Johnny
Or it was Vegas or something.
Wasn't Johnny Galecki one of the kids, like, once in one of them? I think it's the regular one. Do you know who that is?
I can't remember. No, I don't.
Roseanne, from Roseanne, like the boyfriend in David and Roseanne.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Big Bang Theory, and I Know What You Did Last Summer is the Max, that guy. But
yeah, so yeah, there's National Lampoon's Vacation, National Lampoon's European Vacation, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Vegas Vacation, Vacation from 2015, and then
there it is.
There is this spin-off, the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 2, which sucked.
So is that like about the cousin?
Yeah, cousin. Okay. I think it's called Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure.
Dude, that sounds so horrible.
Yeah, I think he goes to Hawaii or something.
Ew. See, he took a real vacation though. I give him credit. Right. The title makes sense. Anyway.
Yeah. So I give it a 8.5 out of 10.
I mean, I would give it an 8 out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
Still a good move. Just not like, it doesn't have that classic nostalgic feel to it for me because I never really watched it.
All right, well.
You have a blind spot, buddy.
Oh, yeah, blind spot. My blind spot is Monty Python and the Holy Grail, which is pretty good. It's a British comedy set in, like, I don't know, like the medieval times. AD 932. King Arthur is basically looking for the Holy Grail, and he gets people involved, and they go. It's just like it's like almost like sketches, different sketches, involving this medieval time. I watched it earlier in the week, so it is a little loose in my memory, so I'm not gonna be able to quote it very well, but it's really funny because I think it's the type of humor, right? Like there's one scene where he fights a knight and like he cuts off the dude's arm, and he's like, so I win. And he's like, what? No, you didn't. And he's like, yes. You cannot continue. And he's like, nonsense. He's like, let's go, or something. And they start fighting again, and he cuts off his other arm, and then the dude's like, he's like, let me at him, you know? And he's like, the duel is over. And he's like, what? No, it isn't. And he's like, you have no arms. And he's like, what? Yes, I do. And it's really funny. He cuts off his legs and stuff, and then he's just like a torso sitting there, and it's like gory, so it's really funny.
Yeah.
And then there's like another really funny part where he's like, what does he say? He's like, oh, he tells the guards to wait there. This kid's like trapped from his father, and he's like, all right, you guard him and don't let him out of your sight until I come back or something. And they're like, okay. And he's like, we won't let him out of our sight unless you or anybody else comes back. And he's like, no. I said, unless I come back, just I. And he's like, okay. And he's like, got it. And he's like, yeah, let him out of our sight. And it's like, no, don't let him out of your sight. It's just like, it goes on really long. So it's super funny. The part at the end is really funny. I mean, honestly, it's just a very funny movie. I did not expect to think that it was going to be really funny, but it was.
Yeah,
I really liked it.
I am astounded that you enjoyed it, because I didn't know. I thought you might have not liked it. And honestly, I haven't seen any of those movies since high school, probably. Which back then, I thought like I was gonna think they were really stupid. Life of Brian's really good too, but they're just like laugh out loud, funny, ridiculous. I think I watched this one like as a triple feature at my friend's house, because we used to have like movie night gatherings, and I think it was like that Kung Pao Enter the Fist movie.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
And The Room. So
yeah, I like Kung Pao.
Yeah, that one's I remember being hilarious as well. But so it's a good time. I'm glad that you like this. Sometimes you have a sense of humor, and I'm proud.
Right. And I give it an 8.5 out of 10. It was great.
Nice. Good.
All right, so next week we're actually both going to do blind spots, because pretty much running out of time for them. And then I want to make sure that I squeeze in the Christmas one. So I assume that this will be the Christmas one for me, but I'll try. We'll pull the thing. I might have to use my skip. All right, so first let's do yours, okay?
Okay.
And let's see here. Number 1.
Reservoir Dogs.
3.
Hardball.
5.
Speed.
2.
Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter Died.
14.
Platoon.
7.
Clerks.
6.
The Never-Ending Story.
Nice.
Oh.
How many do you have left?
Just 2. After that, after A Never-Ending Story, there's 2 more.
So you would have this and 1 more then.
Yeah.
Because we only plan on doing 13.
Right.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
All right, and for me, let's do this a little simpler. How many do I have left?
You have, let's see.
Like total.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3. 3.
Okay, so I'm gonna go 1 to 3 then.
Yeah.
3.
Wait. So which ones?
You just count them from the top down.
Okay. So 3 would be Blood Simple, buddy.
Okay, I'm using my skip on that because I didn't want to do that one anyway.
I know.
All right, so 2.
That would be Polar Express.
Oh, it worked out perfect. Nice. All right, cool. So Polar Express, and then I'll just have what left?
The Taxi Driver.
And then you'll have either
Dangerous Minds or No Country for Old Men.
Okay. All right, so let's get into our featured review here. It is Castle Freak 2020. They announced this film forever ago, but it really it just like dropped out of nowhere. Like the trailer came out and then like a week later it was out. Right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And
right.
So Castle Freak 2020 was directed by Tate Steinsick.
Yes.
And wow, he was on the first season of Face Off.
Oh, interesting.
Oh my god, I remember this dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's crazy. Did you watch Face Off?
Not really. I mean, I've seen probably a few episodes, but not enough to be like, yeah, I know that dude.
I watched the first couple seasons. I really, really liked it, but that's pretty crazy. I didn't know that he was the one that directed this. Yeah, he actually made it to the finals on Face Off.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah, he's worked on tons of movies, from like The Amazing Spider-Man as a special effects guy to Puppet Master The Littlest Reich. And then so director-wise, he has done pretty much a couple of shorts and then pretty much this. So Castle Freak, if you have a plot synopsis ready.
Right. Shut up, train. Okay. After she's permanently blinded in a tragic car accident, Rebecca receives some bizarre news. Her long-lost mother has recently passed away, leaving her their family's ancestral castle in rural Albania. Traveling to the estate with a group of friends, Rebecca hopes it will be an opportunity for her to reconnect with a past she never knew and a mother who seemingly left her behind. When mysterious events begin to occur and her friends begin to die, Rebecca must unravel the secrets of the family's history before she too falls prey to the Castle Freak. So that's the entire move right there. But yeah, they essentially take the core concept of the 1995 move where you have this blind girl, Rebecca. She gets blinded in a car accident and then she gets a castle, but it's not like the same thing, you know. In the original, it's you know, a dad is kind of the center focus and his daughter is blinded and his whole family, I think, gets the castle from his like aunt or something like that. And so I think that's kind of interesting right off the bat, is how I like these types of remakes where it's not, you know, a shot for shot remake, but at the same time it's not like completely doing its own thing. It's kind of taking the same idea and just changing it up a little bit. So I do like that.
And of course, Castle Freak was based on an H.P. Lovecraft story called The Outsider. And it's apparently it's a pretty loose adaptation. Now, the thing that I will say that I right away about this movie, like when it started, I was like, oh no, like I was like not with it at all. It was the acting was really bad, like more bad than I expected it to be, even for low budget. And then the characters were just like unlikable, especially the lead husband or boyfriend, whatever he is. I mean, he's a total douchebag, like one of the worst of the year for sure. But he's supposed to be, so it makes sense. But I almost feel like it's overblown to where I'm like, this woman would never even be with this guy. He's like a super fake douchebag too. Like he wants to sell this place out from under her. She wants to spend time there to learn about her past because she finds out she was adopted and wants to find out about her birth mother. She believes that there's somebody in the walls of the castle, which of course we know there is. There's the Castle Freak.
Right.
And then there's like this whole section where everybody, like their friends come over to like do drugs and drink and stuff. And like, it just doesn't make sense to me, because this girl had a huge tragedy. She lost her vision due to like drunk driving, pretty much, you know what I mean, and partying and stuff. Like, I doubt she's gonna be one around that stuff at all. You know.
Well, yeah, I think she says, like, oh, I don't want you bringing them around because they'll be doing all this stuffs. And then he's like, no, I swear they won't do the stuffs. And then he brings them around and they immediately start doing all the stuff. So I think it's like they're all just very toxic and horrible. And
yeah, but it almost felt like fake, like not in reality, which honestly, like, all that stuff is like my least favorite part of the movie, and it really was dragging it down. But then there's one scene in this movie that completely like got me so into it after that, and it's a scene where there is a man and a woman about to be having sex, and the man is handcuffed to the bed and the castle freak shows up, and I was just like, yo, that is crazy. Like, I didn't expect that at all. There was like a nice moment there where it was like different from the original and stuff, and I was like, oh, that is so cool. And then the entire third act I thought was really bonkers and really just reveled in H.P. Lovecraft, and I thought that was really dope. So it completely saved the movie for me. I mean, I probably liked it more than most humans out there, it seems. Like, Moods hated it. I know you're not the biggest fan. I mean, you didn't really talk about it yet, but and most people aren't too high on it, but I really like it. I don't think it's better than the original, because the original is creepy and scary and stuff like that. I think this one has a good castle setting. They utilize it pretty well. It's shot pretty decently. The score by Fabio Frizzi is pretty decent. Almost feels like Italian in a way. The film, not just the score. But of course, Fabio Frizzi did like tons of Italian films like Zombie 2 and City of the Living Dead and stuff. So yeah, so what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely didn't like it as much as you, but at the same time, you know, it's not like it's the worst thing I've seen all year. I think it's definitely passable of a movie. I really just, like, none of the characters are likable. I mean, a lot of people are complaining about the acting. It's not the worst acting I've ever seen. It's just feels very unrealistic at times. With the girl, there's a few like emotional moments and stuff like that. It's just like not believable at all. It feels very staged and just bad. The boyfriend is like the biggest douche in the world. Like, every single thing he does in this movie is douchey, and it just like maxes out by the end. And I don't believe that. First of all, buddy, if you ever accidentally blind me, I shall never talk to you again. Okay?
Not my fault.
No, buddy. It's just I just think it's funny. Like, this and the original is just like, why can't you just forgive me? And it's like, the original, like, he killed their little boy and blinded their daughter, and then in this one it's like,
yeah, and it wasn't like just an accident. It's like you were drinking and driving, bro.
Yeah, aggressively. But and in this movie, I thought the wreck, like the drinking and driving moment, was super lame. I know you said you couldn't remember it that much, but it was like it seemed like they wouldn't even have gotten hurt. It looked like in, Christmas Vacation, where they just drive off the road into the tree place and it's like everything's fine. That's kind of what it was like. But the castle freak I thought looked decent, and I thought it had some decent gore moments, bloody, cringe type moments like that. So I thought that was cool. But overall, just the characters, the whole thing with the girlfriend and the boyfriend, the fact that I didn't like any of them, and the stuff they were doing was stupid, where they're all just hanging out and drinking and doing drugs and stuff like that. It made a very unappealing movie. It made the movie feel like it dragged on forever, like there wasn't much going on. And, the original was nothing, like, fantastic either, but that one has enough to keep me interested. This one just got kind of boring for me at times. I agree, the ending is cool with the off-the-wall stuff, and I do agree that one scene you're talking about is rather grotesque and surprising, so that was good. But for me, it's not enough really to elevate it that much because I just did not care for the characters too much, and it was just a very forgettable type of move. So.
All right. Of course, it was produced by Barbara Crampton, Charles Band. Barbara Crampton, of course, starred in the original, which is pretty cool. And I think at the end of the day, like, the big negative for me with this one was how long it was. Hour and 6 minutes is just too long for this film. But I really did like the final act. Like, it kind of impressed me. So I that's mainly where I'm coming in with this rating. Do we have Letterboxd reviews?
Yeah, there's one here. It's a 3-star, and it's like giving it credit. It says, I appreciate, it's by Tori. I shall do this. It is by Tori, and her favorite moves are Trick or Treat, the good one from 2007, A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, Beetlejuice, and Reanimator. So she is a good horror fan. But she said, I appreciate how many new concepts were brought into this reboot while still retaining ones from the original to mix them into something new enough to make remaking it worthwhile, while still having the connective tissue to the original. I liked a lot of what this one had to offer, and while I have nitpicky issues with things like the only POC being assholes and fodder to be killed, it's also hard to say the original is any better in that regard, etc. I don't know what I just said. Overall, I enjoyed it a lot, and that tease at the end has me curious. That was a review. And then let us see. Alright, this guy gave it 2 stars. It says, absolutely nuts. Not sure I've seen a move with such bad acting. The professor specifically was the worst line delivery of any actor I've ever seen. But
I actually didn't mind the professor that much, but Mood said the same thing.
What?
You know.
But man, what a wild second stab at the 1995 classic, ? It goes places, !
It does.
I suck. Oh, and this guy, his favorite move, he doesn't have favorite moves on his thing. Okay, fuck you. Siostalik was his name.
Gotcha. All right, so let's rate this bad boy. I'm coming in at a 7 out of 10.
I shall hit it with just an average 5 out of 10.
Oof. Yeah, I knew I was like really high on this one compared to everybody else, but yeah. All right, so next week, we're probably going to try to do this film. It's out now. It's available to rent. It's the only film I know of that's a Christmas film out right now that's new. It's called Deathcember, right? Oh, and we were supposed to do Alone this week, but I wanted to do Castle Freak.
Right, selfish.
Yeah, so Deathcember is a collection of 24 films that take a look at the dark side of the festive season. 24 international directors with the most diverse ideas and styles, linked by short animation segments that deal with the event calendar itself. And it is directed by a ton of people, including, which is just nuts, I didn't expect to see some of these names, Rogerio Deodato directed a segment.
Ew.
And Lucky McKee as well. There's a ton more directors, but we might have to take freaking notes during this one to remember which segment's which. But no. We might do that. If there's another Christmas film that I could find, then we'll do that instead, because this thing is beefy. This film is, I think, around 2 hours and 30 minutes.
No.
So we shall see.
All right.
We'll see you guys next week with another one. Peace out. Thank you for listening.
Bye.